I ain't gonna say who's on the beat, cause you should know that by now. Check it. Hey yo, music's on my mind, like my 5950, I ain't lying. Check it. Yo, this ain't a fitted song, this a get with it song.
Yo, what up?
Yo.
BTV Sports, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition of Yo BTV Sports, live from Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. I'm Jason and Ugo. That's Ugo boy. We got some special guests in the house. Once again, welcome Mongo. What's up, Mongo?
Survey says.
Hey, one more for the good guy. And we also got one of the greatest Mets and Jets fans of all time here, none other than Carlos Villa. What's up, bro?
What's going on, everybody?
Yep. And also, thank you once again to Marv, the king of podcasts. Follow him on Instagram. Follow him on all social medias. He is the best. Yes, exactly. Marv is perfect. And let's also get a Bailey Yahtzee in there, because I've become a fan of her since last week.
Of course. Bailey, I love you.
All right, so, wow. Last week was a wild card week. And unfortunately, we're also going to be having a little bit of a funeral here. That's why you guys are dressed in black right now.
Oh, totally.
It's not because you guys are fans of the Blues Brothers, but
that adds to it.
It is,
for sure. But,
you guys are on a mission from God after all, so.
Yes.
But yeah.
Something like that.
All right, but you know what? I know you've been waiting hold on. You've been waiting all week for the clowns of the week. A little foreshadowing there, but. Should we just get this out of the way? Because I know that you've been in somewhat therapy with what happened, that debacle that happened this past weekend.
Oh, totally.
You know what? So totally. I'm just going to be a gentleman and let you take it from here, because I know you got a lot to get off your chest.
Oh my God, the world's been waiting for this. Like, I've been hit up so much, man. Before the game, first of all, round of applause for these guys. They hit me up during the game for therapy.
Checking up on your well-being.
Wellness checks over here. Mm-hmm. So. I'm gonna bring out the Ray-Bans. It's not for Blues Brothers. This is a eulogy. Mark, bring in the sad music. Bring in the sad music. It's time. Bring in the music. It's sad. There we go. World's smallest violin over here. Okay, let's. All right, that's enough of that. I would actually cry. So the 29 years and counting, the Green Bay Packers dispatch of America's team. This might be the last time you hear it, but can I get a how about them Cowboys? It's the last time you're going to hear it. Oh, man. I really feel like it's like karma from the 90s. Like, we dominated the Packers in the 90s. We dominated the 49ers in the 90s. And, like, we can't beat either of those teams now. Like, the karma is very real. I'm going to start this rant off. First of all, this is brought to you by First Class Second Place Podcast, as streaming now or wherever you get your podcast, as well as the Ugo Boy Podcast with Sports Talk with me and Mongo. New episodes on the way. As well as Bravery Studios, as always, the home base, as well as Bravely Fit, new podcast with our two sisters, Mommy Energy. So this reminds me of a quote from my senior year history professor, Douglas Sterner. Dr. Douglas Sterner. I'll never forget, this guy said, first of all, he looks like Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. So that
Strong start.
But Sterner,
LaFonda.
Exactly. Sterner, wherever you are. Love you, dog. He had a quote. He had many quotes. He was like freaking Paul Giamatti and Holdovers.
Great movie, by the way.
Great movie, by the way. He said that fail to prepare and prepare to fail. So it's a gem right there. And that was a absolute microcosm of what happened on Sunday, Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock at Jerry World. The Cowboys were not prepared to play that game. To get dominated in all three phases, it was 27-0 going into the final minute of the second quarter. 27 again, and Dallas is driving there before the pick six ended the game. The pick six by Dak, can we all agree on that? That effectively ended the game. You're down 20-0. Say you score there, get the 2-for-1, you score again, you're down one score, anybody's ball game in the third quarter, right?
Right.
Yeah. But the pick six ends the game. The most troubling part of the Mike McCarthy tenure is that the Dallas Cowboys play their worst game of the year in the playoffs. And for the life of me, I don't know how you continue to roll that out year after year after year. You go back 2 years ago in the wild card round against Jimmy Garoppolo, that Hall of Famer. At home against the 49ers, you played your worst game of the year, one and done. Last year, after a great game against the Bucs, basically retiring Tom Brady on the road, you followed that up with the worst game of the year in San Francisco in a 19-12 loss to the same San Francisco 49ers. And this year, for the third year in a row, they were going for the hat trick like the Devils were playing. You play the worst game of the year at home in the wild card round against a team that had 9 wins that I just watched Tommy Cutlets carve up on Monday Night Football. He was Offensive Player of the Week against the same Packer defense. The same Packer defense. They lose. They're one and done against those teams. So McCarthy in his press conference said that he wants Cowboy fans to buy into us. That's bad stock. Dallas fans are not buying into McCarthy or his tenure, and this is very similar to 2019. Very similar to 2019. Jason Garrett had a loaded roster. Was touted as one of the best Cowboy teams in the last 10 or 20 years, whatever. And they dramatically went 8-8, and he lost his job. He went 8-8 for the 4th time in his tenure and lost his job. Dallas did not re-sign him. They didn't fire him after the 2018 season. They just basically let his contract run out, and they interviewed his replacement, Mike McCarthy, in the building. McCarthy's in the same situation. He is a lame duck coming into this season. Dallas, they don't have to extend him. They don't have to fire him. They don't have to do anything. They're going to let his contract run out, and we'll see how the chips fall when the season's over, because right now, it's looking like this is the last season for Mike McCarthy in Dallas, but very disappointing finish on every level. This was the most disappointing loss. I mentioned it in jest from time to time, but seriously, 2007, when they were the 1 seed, 13 Pro Bowlers. But then they had the world-famous Wade Phillips at head coach, so you knew how that was going to go. 13 Pro Bowlers, 1 seed. They were playing the Giants for the 3rd time after blowing the doors off them twice during the regular season. One and done at Texas Stadium. History repeats itself. One and done at AT&T Stadium. So this was a very disappointing game, and it's going to take a while for Cowboy fans to get over this one. But I'm already in draft season. I was listening to the draft show on the way here, so draft super show on the way. So give me some CM Punk pipe bombs and give me some tell me when I'm telling lies, man.
Pipe bomb. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'm wearing this hoodie.
It's okay, man. I've been there.
You guys are Jet fans, so
yes.
I feel like I'm in the right company.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Jason, and I'm a Jets fan.
Hi, Jason.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but you're absolutely right, because not to add the Jets into this again, but I'm root for a team that has been known to do this quite often. So there's been plenty of pick sixes in my life where I know that this is over. So when I saw that happen, I'm like, that's it. Dallas is not coming back from this. Yep. And it's just a microcosm of what they go. This is really bad for the fans. And listen, I know that a lot of people are gonna rip on me because oh, how can you like the Cowboy fans and everything? Cowboy fans have never done anything to me.
Yeah. We're not in the same conference.
Exactly. I never understood it. My cousin Renee, who I love all to death, he's the biggest Jet fan I've ever known. He hates the pinstripes with a passion, and he hates the blue with a passion, and everything like that. But he also hates the Cowboys. What did they do to you? I mean, I think that's just New York bias as far as that's concerned. That's all it really is. But anyway, you guys really don't deserve this because being able to score the prom queen, and then all of a sudden she says, I'm not ready. It's basically similar to that. I mean, and there's plenty, and the media loves this. They're feasting on this. I mean, they love it so much that they have snapshots of people in the audience crying, sobbing, beside themselves, everything, all for the pleasure of everybody else in the football world.
Yep. No, it's true. I mean, and you look at you look at coming into McCarthy's last year now. This analogy I gave to a friend of mine who called me after a lot of people called me. My phone was blown up. I had to turn it off at one point. Basically, imagine
you knew that was going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen though. It comes with having BTV Sports. It comes with having the Ugo Boy podcast. It comes with success. It is what it is. But imagine dating your girl for 4 years. Right? And for 4 years, you've been trying to get her to take cooking lessons. All right? Listen, each time she's like, babe, I promise I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And then the 5th year you guys start dating, you sit down at the dinner table and you demand her to cook you a 5-star meal. It's not going to happen. This
Nope.
is not going to happen. And honestly, McCarthy is in the same boat for 4 years in a row. Your first year, you missed the playoffs. The next 3 years, you had disastrous playoff losses. You have one playoff win in 4 years as the Cowboys head coach. And now the fifth year, he's telling us to buy in just because he did win a Super Bowl his fifth year in Green Bay, but that was with the generational. He's allowed to have the generational word. Aaron Rodgers, as you guys know, at quarterback. But you're asking us
when
to
he
buy
has both Achilles.
Exactly. He had both Achilles intact. You're asking us to buy into you winning a Super Bowl in your fifth year when you haven't put together back-to-back playoff wins. You have one playoff win in 4 years. So, again, the morale is at an all-time low, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer and say that there's no point of playing next year. I'm never going to do that because this is the NFL. But
I hate fans that do that.
I hate fans that do that. Like the game, like it doesn't even matter. But it's not looking promising. We'll see what they do in the offseason. We'll see what they do in the draft, but it's not looking good.
Right.
So
I hear you. And like Carlos, let me ask you real quick. So obviously you're a Jet fan like me and Mongo.
Yep.
So with this last game against the Patriots, when we finally snapped that losing streak, were you one of the people that actually was glad that they got the win, or did you want to lose so that you can get a higher draft pick?
I guess I was more in the middle. Number one, I never want to lose to the Patriots. But then, I started looking at it. I started looking at it. I'm like, okay, if we win and things fall into place, we'll have the 10th pick. We've had some pretty good 10th overall picks in the first round. So I said, you know what, beat the brakes off. Yeah, beat the brakes off of them. Why not? I hate Bill Belichick. I hate New England Patriots. I hate all things Boston. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it.
I mean, I only like the food, like lobster bisque, clam chowder, all that. The lobster roll.
I love the food.
Yeah.
We're talking about sports.
Yeah, no, the teams, they're trash.
Right. I have a lot of family up in that area. All of them, Boston and Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Right.
Watch out for the cops.
Yeah, but I wanted to beat the brakes off of them. I said, you know what? 10th overall pick. Who cares? Let's beat them. Let's send Bill Belichick home with a loss to the Jets. That's where I was.
Yeah, see, the only reason I asked that is because kind of piggyback off what Ugo was saying. I hate when teams try just basically. There's only one year of me being a fan of this team where I wanted them to lose so we can get a higher draft pick, and that was in 2020 when Trevor Lawrence was there for us and we didn't get it. Other than that, I don't want to see my team lose at all. I don't care if it's against the Arizona Cardinals or the New England Patriots. I want to see wins, especially coming from a fan that hasn't experienced a lot of that in the last 13 years.
Agreed.
Now, I will say this, though. If I'm a Cowboy fan next year, to me, 11-6 or 17-0 are the exact same numbers.
Facts.
Facts. As long as you're in the playoffs next year, you're still at the exact same point of I'm gonna go throw up in the corner, right? Because the first 17 next year are meaningless as long as you get in. It's when we get to the playoffs that we're gonna see is this same old Mike McCarthy, or are you gonna finally find some sort of new magic? So in that sense, I'm with you completely. The who cares about next year attitude is a dumb attitude, but I will be very surprised if this year, where you were counting every W and watching every Eagles, W, there's no need for that. And let's say we go 16-1 next year. You guys go 11-6. I'll still doubt both of you equally come January.
It's the truth. It's the honest to God truth. It is. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and shout out to New York Posse again. We haven't shout them out.
Yes.
Posse for
thank you very much for New York Posse for sponsoring last week's show, and thank you for just being great supporters of the show. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I'll wrap things here.
Yeah, we're going to open the phone lines up in a little bit. 862-621-9536 is the number to call in.
Yeah, and what I will do is, before we shift the gears, to recap last weekend as well as preview this upcoming weekend of divisional games. Round of applause for Aaron Jones. Round of applause for Jordan Love. Round of applause for Matt LaFleur. The Packers were the better team. They were on all levels, the better coaching, the better approach, the better attitude. They came ready to play. They really did. And trust and believe. Whether Dan Quinn is retained or not, his teams, you guys know I love the stats.
Oh,
His teams
Bring the stats up.
He is 0-6 against coaches that were on his coaching staff when he was in Atlanta. He has not beaten Kyle Shanahan or anyone from the Kyle Shanahan tree. Mike McDaniel was on that tree, as well as Matt LaFleur. 0-6. So trust and believe. In the offseason, whether Quinn is retained or not, whoever the DC is, they better bring in somebody who's either a consultant or was on that coaching staff as well. And you would think it would go both ways. Okay, we know their offense. They know our defense. We know their offense. You should know how to slow down an offense you saw in practice a bajillion times a year in OTAs and throughout the season, but that hasn't been the case. So that needs to be addressed in the offseason 1,000%. They need to figure out, because the Packers are gonna be better next year. They're probably gonna get more than likely they're gonna the doors blown off them by the Avengers. Who knows? They might shock the Avengers, because it's Spider-Man meme. It's Shanahan tree versus Shanahan tree. The actual, you know what I mean? But who knows? But you're gonna see those guys again next year. You're gonna see the McVays of the world, the Shanahans of the world, Shanahan trees of the world. You're gonna see those guys, and you're gonna have to get through them to get to the Super Bowl next year. So if that's not addressed, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll have the glasses on. It'll just be a year down the road. And trust me, McCarthy will be out of a job. Because if he doesn't go on a run next year, he's a lame duck right now. There'll be a new coach in Dallas.
Now, I'm sorry, but I've seen this movie before. I don't know why they just didn't cut ties with McCarthy, because I thought that, especially against your old team,
agreed.
That, and also with the possibility of Bill Belichick and all these other coaches out there like Jim Harbaugh and Mike Vrabel and everybody else out there, they're available, but you're going to run it back with Mike McCarthy. That is what they call franchise malpractice.
Definition of insanity is what?
Yeah, it's doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
No, I was in lockstep with you. Both of you guys were texting me, toward the end of the game or whatnot, like, yo, are you out on McCarthy? Yeah, I am out on him.
Yeah.
I would have fired him. I would have fired him, not more so because of the debacle of what happened on Sunday, but again, the body of work. I'm a holistic guy, all right? I was out on Jason Garrett after the second 8-8 season, let alone the third 8-8 season. You know what I mean? Because again, you've shown me nothing to tell me that you're trending in the right direction. I understand why they kept him. I disagree. I would have fired him, but what I really believe that they're looking at it from the continuity and the 3 consecutive 12-win seasons. I think that was his only saving grace. The fact that they have not had back-to-back double-digit winning seasons, let alone back-to-back playoff appearances since Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. I think Jerry's looking at it like, man, we definitely didn't have this with Garrett. Let's try it one more time. I think that's the way he looked at it. And from that standpoint and the continuity standpoint, this is just the first year with the offense. Dak had an unbelievable regular season. The offense put up numbers, and again, they succumbed to. I feel for him, because it was like they were putting Band-Aids on an amputee. That's what it felt like, because you look at the defense. you were down Trayvon Diggs. Stephon Gilmore had a torn labrum and a shoulder harness and a separated shoulder. So you're thin at corner. You got to play zone coverage, and you're a predominantly man team. You know what I mean? And at linebacker, Lord, can I get some trashes? And the trashes aren't so much for the effort, but the execution and the plan. You're putting safeties at linebacker. You got Marquise Bell. Marquise Bell weighs less than me, and he's at linebacker as an NFL starter. So you're thin at linebacker, and the Packers are just like, you've got basically a punter at linebacker. We're running every single play. So you know what they got to do in the draft now. You know those are draft needs. We'll get to the draft super show when it is draft season. But you feel for Dan Quinn, and he wet the bed. But again, personnel wise, what did you want him to do? He's on his third and fourth corner, and he doesn't have any linebackers. So the playoffs, they exploit your weaknesses in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
they do.
You get exposed, and there's no other way of showing exposure than the Miami Dolphins in Kansas City.
Facts.
Because let's transition over to them right now. It's not going to be a Cowboys show, unfortunately for you, Ben. So good.
Please, I don't want it to be.
Okay, good.
I don't know what makes you think that I wanted that.
I just know you needed to get it out, bro, because you've been waiting all week for this. But
you sure about that?
You sure about that?
Sure about that?
You sure about
all right,
that?
But yeah, talking about fraudulence, I mean, I knew it all along. I said it on past episodes and everything. The Miami Dolphins are not a real playoff team. I mean, they look at all the teams that you actually alluded to earlier this week, earlier in episodes of who they actually beat. And they didn't have a good record against winning teams. And also with that cold in Kansas City, they were not going to survive. A warm weather team never fares better, and it couldn't have been even colder for the Miami Dolphins in all aspects. in all aspects. I just think, and I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there were actually 15 players that were hospitalized with hypothermia.
And a number of fans, too. A number of fans.
Yeah, but you know what? I knew that kind of was coming because you saw some fans out there actually ripping their shirts off and going crazy and everything. Like, dude, what is wrong with you?
Or that were shirtless for the entire game.
Yeah.
I was like in negative 23-degree weather.
Have you ever been in that type of weather?
I don't want to. No.
I've been in negative 19. It's like you're getting slapped in the face repeatedly.
Oh, I lived in State College, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh for 7 years. It's mountain cold, so the wind chill is different, and we're talking in the negatives, double digits a couple times. It's not fun, and I have no idea why you think being shirtless to promote your team. You're not getting a stipend.
No.
for being shirtless, but
but going back to the game though, we knew that the Dolphins, their forte is speed. Yeah. And you are not going to have a lot of speed in that weather.
No.
And especially since you're not acclimated to that weather, and you're also dealing with the Kansas City Chiefs franchise, a team who it seems like they kind of lost their luster a little bit. They're going through a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. They don't look like the Chiefs of old. You look like Travis Kelce is getting up there, like with Father Time, and maybe Taylor Swift has something to do with it, depending on how you want to go through that conspiracy theory. And then you also have Kadarius Toney, who apparently has no hands
whatsoever.
But I don't know. But I think that this is good for the Chiefs, and I think they got a little bit of their swagger back, but not all the way. I don't know if they're still a Super Bowl contender this year, but we're starting to see some cracks in their system. They're not as dominant as they once was. But at the end of the day, when you have Patrick Mahomes against Tua Tagovailoa, who are you really going to pick?
Yeah, I mean, it was the easiest pick of the week for me.
Yeah.
Easiest, hands down. And not to mention...
Straight up money line.
Facts. Not to mention, I mean, again, you're talking about the fraud alert. You're talking about the scammer alert. Mm-hmm. And I tell me when I'm telling lies 2 times, por favor.
Tell
Mr.
me when I'm telling
Perdomo.
lies.
Again,
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'm going to trash real quick for the Miami Dolphins. I'm sorry. I got to do it for the fans.
It's the AFC East. It's the AFC East to them. You can't help yourself.
Thank you. No, keep them coming. Keep coming. Because after all the fraudulent talk that they were talking about, no, Tua's an MVP. Tyreek is going to win MVP. We're going to the Super Bowl and everything. No, trash.
Yeah.
You sure about that?
I'm definitely sure about that. Hey, all right, we got a caller. Who is on the line?
It might be Deji.
I hope it's Deji.
To dance on the grave.
Okay. Hello? Hey.
It's either Deji or Aaron.
Yeah.
You know they've been waiting.
Oh, my God. Jarvis Landry's brother? Oh, here we go. All right. Who's there?
It's Deji.
It's Deji, yeah.
It's gotta be Deji.
When I'm telling lies, boys.
You need some tell me don't tell lies. You need some tell me don't tell lies for this guy.
You know what? I will apologize to you, Deji, because I accused you of looking through this through blue color glasses, big blue color glasses, because I know you're a Giant fan. But you know what? You told it like it is, so I'm gonna give credit where credit's due.
Deji, real quick. Why do you think why were you so confident that the Packers were gonna dismantle the Cowboys? Why were you so confident?
Okay, so the Packers, they've been on the trend. I mean, they've been on their offense has been picking up. And hey, watch out, the Niners might lose, man.
Oh wow, he's calling upset again. Okay. He's 1 for 1. I mean,
Niners might lose. I mean that defense, they're young, they're fast. They're moving.
Yeah. So, I mean, my next question for you, Deji, is Jordan Love. Do you feel like he's the next Aaron Rodgers after that performance? I mean, he had a perfect passer rating. Again, round of applause one more time for Jordan Love. He was incredible. He was incredible. He looked like Aaron Rodgers on a couple of those throws off platform.
It's crazy how Green Bay never loses a step when it comes to having their quarterbacks.
They know how to evaluate quarterbacks. They just don't know how to keep them. All right, so but Deji, how do you feel about Jordan Love moving forward in the playoffs and next year after that performance?
Hey, I mean, it's too early. It's the same thing. I mean, look at what happened with Daniel Jones. We all got
some trashes for Daniel Pennies. Some trashes.
Yep.
we got hyped up. Let me see you do it again next season, and then I know you're the real deal.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Now, what do you expect for your Giants next year, especially with the firing of Wink Martindale and every other? What's their next step? And you guys are actually rolling with Daniel Jones continuing this year?
Oh man, it's so much drama over there, man. With Dable and the whole staff.
It's like A&E right now.
Yeah, exactly. Freaking WWE biography over there. Vice, Dark Side of the Ring, right there.
American Nightmare now streaming on Netflix.
I mean, I really don't know, honestly, guys. I mean, do I want them to play with Daniel Jones? No. I'd rather go, draft a quarterback, build that line, and then hopefully the new defensive coordinator does a good job. But like, I still feel letting go of Martindale was a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I was actually shocked by that move, and I was hoping that, listen, when it comes to Daboll and the Giants, making a move like this and any other moves that they're going to make, they got to win. I'm not saying Super Bowl or bust, but they actually have to show that they were the team that they were in Brian Daboll's rookie year as a head coach, because that's when they actually turn everybody's heads and let them know that, oh, we actually got a real head coach and a real GM. We just got to get a real quarterback and other few pieces, and then afterwards we'll be off and away. But I'm a fan of Wink Martindale. I loved him when he was in Baltimore. I thought he was a great fit for the Giants, especially since they wanted to go back to that old school hard-nosed defense that was, from the two Bills from back then. That's what the Giants' identity is back then, and that's what they wanted to get back to. And I think that Wink Martindale could have given that spark of hope. But with a move like this, they better win, because this is also not looking good on Brian Daboll, who some people are actually pegging him as a narcissist egomaniac that wants to do things his way.
Some SAT
Hey,
words
you're
there.
right. You're right.
Yeah, some
And
SAT
you know
words
what the crazy
there.
part is? You want to know what the crazy part is? He's done after if he loses this season, if they have another terrible season.
But you know what? Congratulations on actually keeping a head coach for a third year, because that hasn't been going well for you guys. I mean, between Judge and then Shermer and then McAdoo, it hasn't been a good run, but I really am a fan of Brian Daboll, and I think you guys got the right guy, but it's all about winning. Let's just hope that him and Sheen actually puts together a good football team, and you guys got to really get a real quarterback. You can't go with Danny Dimes, Danny Pennies, whatever. You guys have to draft. If you guys can get Michael Penix, go for him if he's there.
They're not going to do that, though. I strongly doubt.
But if you got
doubt they're going to draft a quarterback this year.
I can see them trading up to draft a quarterback. They have to at this point. Their defense isn't bad.
Yeah, especially
look at their defense.
Especially since Brian Daboll is a quarterback whisperer, quarterback guru, whatever you want to call it, and Daniel Jones is not his guy.
No.
If you give Brian Daboll the quarterback that he actually wants and knows that we can get the best out of him, why not? The Giants are in a perfect position right now. It's all about John Mara getting out of the way.
That's the wild card there. I don't believe. I feel like Mara is still all in on Daniel Dimes, and it's going to be at the detriment of his GM and his head coach. That's the sad part. He's not going to fire himself.
Exactly.
I mean, so Deji. I mean, we'll ask one more time. Is Daniel Jones the guy? So I can't even get out of a straight face.
I love how you can't even finish that sentence.
I can't, because there's a reason why they're on rebuild number 5, Mambo number 5 over there in New York.
A little bit of Danny in our lives.
A little bit of fire in their lives.
You want to know what makes it worse, though, guys? Here's what's making it worse for the Giants right now. Is the fact that you have clowns like Sal Licata saying,
yes,
a
former clown of the week right here.
The Savage is
yes,
going. The Savage is going. Keep it going, Mark. Yes. Keep it going, Mark.
Savage. Like BT's joining them. I'm like.
And listen, I was a big fan of BT for a while, but ever since he joined that clown Sal, I've lost a lot of respect for him. I can't even listen to their show anymore. So I hear what you're saying, Deji.
And that's what's making things worse is that now it's tearing the fan base apart. One side, the one side of the fan base wants Daniel Jones back, the other side doesn't want it. And I'm one of those people where I'm like, guys, let's just start from the beginning, ground up, get a new quarterback, build a line, build from the inside out. That's what Bill Belichick did. Build from the inside out, fix the line, fix the defense, and you'll be back in the playoffs.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be up to when your owner decides to step out of the way. But Deji, we gotta keep the show going. But before we get off the phone, he texted me this in big bold letters after the Cowboy game. Can I get a tell me when I'm telling lies, Deji, before you get you off the phone?
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
You gotta say it, Deji. You gotta say it. You gotta say it.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Thank you for the call, Deji. Love you, Doug.
You guys.
Oh man.
Oh man.
We love you, Phil. We love you, Phil. He will win the Royal Rumble. He will.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Deji, for the call. 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. Now we got another caller. Yes. I wonder if this is Carlos in Miami. Is his ears ringing right now after all the trash I was talking?
Hi, Jay.
Hey, there we go. Carlos from the MIA, Pitbull's cousin. Anyway, what's going on, bro?
Is he in Cancun?
What's up, boys?
Are you in Cancun with Tyreek and Tua right now?
No, I'm hanging out with Dak. We decided to go to Tulum instead.
You're savage for that one.
We're all in the same resort. We're all in the same resort. He said, pass me the coconut.
And shout out to Joel. And shout out to Joel, my fellow Eagle fan, who's definitely in the witness protection program right now.
He changes. I told you, he's with Walter White and Jesse Pinkman right now. We're not gonna see Joel next year.
And that's ironic. It's ironic because Carlos is the one that got me into Breaking Bad.
None of us have a horse in the race these days, huh?
Say it again?
It looks like none of us have a horse in the race these days, huh?
Never. Three of the gentlemen here on this table certainly don't know what that's like for the last 13 years.
Yeah, I'm watching Paramount Plus thanks to this guy. Yeah. I'm watching the Mayor of Kingstown the rest of the playoffs.
Great show. Good show, by the way.
Great show, by the way. Shout out to Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
Round of applause for Jeremy Renner. That's a great show. Great performance.
That's wild. Hey, so my question for this weekend, right? So, obviously, I feel like we got a real breath of fresh air this time around with the playoffs because there's a lot of teams out there that either people didn't think were going to be around. Packers, even the Buccaneers.
Yeah, that was a big one for me.
So, I feel like there's a lot of really good young quarterbacks out there right now. So, if y'all can start a franchise with any one of these guys, anyone. I mean, I wouldn't say Mahomes or Allen or anything like that. Who would it be and why?
CJ Stroud.
He's a rookie.
CJ Stroud has proven. CJ Stroud proved very early on in the season that he is a legit NFL starting quarterback.
The turning point for me is when he beat the brakes off the Bengals.
Oh yeah,
that was beautiful.
And I picked the Bengals that week because I've seen what that defense has done over the years to Patrick Mahomes. And I was like, he's in for his welcome to the NFL moment. Nope.
Right.
He shut me up, and then he did it again to the Browns in the playoffs.
And you know what? Also a big shout out to D'Amico Ryans, who's actually proving his worth as a real NFL coach of the year.
Coach of the year. Round of applause. Coach of the year.
For me, it's either Dan Campbell or him.
Yeah.
I'm still up in the air with that.
They can share. But my vote is.
I mean, look, if it's me, we had Dan Campbell at one point in Miami, but I think
he was your interim coach at one point, right?
Yep. We wasted him, right? But I run through a freaking wall for Dan Campbell. Now, you put me in nuclear war, tell me I'm going to die. If Dan Campbell's my general, I'm going. There's nothing you can tell me. I'm going head first. I'll put my head into the bomb. I don't care. But me personally, I really like Stroud. But I think it's safe to say a lot of people might have been wrong about Jared Goff.
Oh yeah.
Not saying I would pick him over Stroud, but what do you guys think about Goff and his play? You think it was worth it for him to go? I mean, obviously he's doing good.
I think he got his swagger back. I feel like all of the pressure of him being the number one overall pick and with the Los Angeles Rams and all the weapons that they got him and the fact that they got to the Super Bowl only for them to get embarrassed. I think he needed a change of scenery. I think he needed to be in a place where he needed to be in a hard-nosed, rough-edged football team as opposed to being in Los Angeles where it's all like sunny weather and surfing and so on and so forth. I think he found a swagger back. I think he has. I do like McVay, but I think that Dan Campbell is essentially the coach that he needed in order to get that grit, that toughness, and I think it's
he needed someone that believed in him.
Right, exactly. And I don't think maybe at once upon a time Sean McVay did believe in him, but you could see right now because I'm a guy that always says actions speak louder than words. I have seen more support from Dan Campbell for Jared Goff than I ever have for Sean McVay.
Sean McVay to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's the wild part.
That's the wild part too. Yeah. So
sure.
I think that Jared Goff is definitely in a better situation now, and I think that he certainly has found a swagger back. And I don't know if he's ever going to justify him being the number one overall pick, but he's not proven to be a bust by any stretch of the imagination.
Coaching matters. Coaching
Yes.
matters. You see it with Goff and Campbell.
Yeah.
That
Woody,
combination.
Woody Johnson, take notes.
Yes, exactly. You see it with Stroud and D'Amico Ryans. That combination. I'll take it back further.
And Antonio Pierce.
And Antonio Pierce, you see as well. You saw it when Jim Harbaugh got his hands on Colin Kaepernick. They took him all the way to a Super Bowl. Literally took him all the way to a Super Bowl. I mean, and you saw it up until the playoffs. You saw it with McCarthy and Dak. Dak had an MVP caliber season. He never had these type of numbers with Kellen Moore and with Jason Garrett. He didn't. Maybe close. Maybe 2021. That's about it. But in terms of efficiency and running an offense, coaching matters. And you're seeing it with Campbell and Goff. He's elevated him.
Yes.
Take him to another level. Margo, what do you think?
Hey, you guys nailed it. I think the one thing is, you got to add the offensive line for Detroit is the definition of gritty, but also fantastic. It definitely helps that Goff is protected.
Big facts.
He has wide receivers who play at every level. You got St. Brown who can come in. You got guys who can
St.
go
Brown
deep.
is amazing.
So that gives
Great
him more
fantasy
options.
pickup.
So I do think Goff is just in a better place. I agree with you completely that he's in a better place in terms of hype, but he's got a much more. Sorry, making up a word here. Goffian team around him.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that.
That's a great word. They should coin that. That's phenomenal.
Heard it here first.
Heard it here
Here it is
first.
on Yo BTV Sports live from Bravery Studios.
Trademark.
All right, Carlos.
Go. Hey, boys, I appreciate you guys letting me be on as always. Enjoy the playoffs today. Jerry Jones is in here yelling something at Dak. I don't know. He's trying to eat the coconut, the actual self. I gotta go.
No,
I appreciate you guys, man, and I'm always listening, bro.
But Tua tried to pass him his drink and it got intercepted. So,
Got it.
Keep those coming.
I thought I would have went darker, but no, we'll go with that.
No, we'll leave it there. Well, it's a family show.
Exactly. All right. Well, anyway, brother, thank you for calling in, Carlos. Really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the show. And continue on with the calls, and also in the check-in on YouTube, 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. And also continuing on with the show. But before we do, let me give you one more shout-out to New York Posse right here. Shout out to Mongo, shout out to Carlos, shout out to Bravery Studios, and also shout out to you for the support. All right.
I think it's about that time
to keep that same energy.
Can I get some Chris Tuckers? Can I get some Chris Tuckers? Another one. I'm putting the hoodie on next time when I do the scout on. It's hoodie season. Yeah. One more time, Bob. One more. Yes, sir.
I got the Andy Reid mustache going on right now.
Yes.
Frozen and everything.
That's a good mustache.
This is exactly what we want, Margo. This is exactly what we want. Excellent.
Yeah, keep the camera on him, yeah.
Yes. And this episode of Keep That Same Energy is brought to you by New York Posse. As always, grab yourself some Posse gear over at American Dream Mall as well as online. Link below. First Class, Second Place podcast, now streaming on all digital platforms. Got a new episode with myself and Chris Abalo.
Yes.
Promoting
one of the best episodes that I've ever done. I'm not saying that, the audience is saying that, so thank you everybody for the support and the wellness and the acclaim and everything.
Facts.
And yeah, these guys have been amazing. And go check out the Out whenever it's coming out. Brand new short film starring this handsome gentleman over here, and Chris Abalo, written and directed by him as well.
Yes. There'll be a theatrical release actually on February 9th at Smart Castle Theaters.
There you go.
In Atlantic Highlands. So,
I will be there, and you should be too.
Yes, sir. And of course, the You Go Boy podcast, new episodes with this guy and this guy, The Outsiders. Ooh, get my Scott Hall on. Rest in peace, Scott Hall. Turbe says, there we go.
One more for the good guy.
Yes.
And also one more thing, I know that you guys got a lot of financial stuff going on right there, especially in 2024. So let's give this gentleman a shout out right here. You need to get your finances in order. Hit up this guy at Carlos_financial_coach.
Yes.
That's absolutely.
right. Okay.
Yep, perfect.
So we need. I know I'm jumping ahead, but we have to get to.
Let's get that same energy.
Keep that same energy with the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, I know your boy Joel. He's with Walter White and Jesse Pinkman somewhere in New Hampshire. He's changed his driver's license. He's got a beard now. He's in a cabin. You know what I mean?
He's managing a Cinnabon.
Yes, with a comb over, with freaking Better Call Saul next to him, Jimmy McGill, whatever. So again, but we need to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles because They were the first. It's funny. It's funny. It's so funny. They were the first teams to freaking Cherokee rain dance on our graves after the Cowboys got dispatched by the Packers. But what did they do on Monday night against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
By the coach-led Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
Future Hall of Famer. Jets great. Todd Bowles.
Elizabeth, New Jersey's own.
So Marv, give me 25 trashes. Give me 25 trashes. You know what? I'm gonna go get some night crawlers from the vending machine, and I'll be right back. So I've been saying this. I said this on this show. You guys were right next to me when I said it. That 10-1, living dangerously, living on the edge, barely beating bad teams was not a sustainable business model. Did I say that? Did I not say that?
Correct.
Did I say that? And like clockwork, what happened when the levees finally broke in Philadelphia and they started getting L's that should have been L's earlier in the year? The San Francisco Avengers broke them. They broke them like Bane in Dark Knight Rises.
Oh. I was wondering when it would break. Your spirit or your body?
Or your ego. You fight like a younger man. Oh my God. Like they broke them like Bane and they did not make the climb out of the well to back to civilization. They did not. And then the Cowboys, they also continued to break them like Bane in the following week. And then what happened when they played the Arizona Cardinals, led by Jonathan Gannon, their former coach, embarrassed in Philadelphia. And then Baker Mayfield looked like, I don't know if I was watching Baker Mayfield or Tom Brady back there on Monday Night Football, because he threw for over 300.
Tom Brady Jr., yeah. TB6.
He added his name to an illustrious list of people that have thrown for a party on the Philadelphia Eagles secondary,
including your own New York Jets.
Yeah. So, from the makers of the team that lost to Zach Wilson, from the makers of the team that lost to Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, twice, well, should have been twice, and of course, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray threw for a party against them.
Mr. Madden himself?
Yes, Mr. Call of Duty himself. Matt Stafford threw for a party on him. Kirk Cousins threw for a party on him. Sam Howell threw for 2 parties.
The Commanders.
Oh, what a disaster. And Tyrod Taylor threw for a party against them. So Baker Mayfield joins an illustrious group of players that have thrown for a party on the Philadelphia. And what's even more troubling is, again, I'm a troll, so I follow Philadelphia media, and Seth Joyner, I put him in my story, and I think I tagged Jason in it late night. I couldn't help it. It was hilarious. I really believe that the locker room quit on Nick Sirianni.
Yep.
The second, and this goes back, round of applause for myself and round of applause for Mongo, because we called this, we said that there were a lot of underlining issues in Philadelphia. So before Eagle fans even fix their lips, that's what my mom says, fix their lips to even say something against America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, worry about your own house. You guys were, the fraud alert was coming out of the freaking Eastern Pennsylvania area this year as well. The scam alert, potential scammer, was coming out of there too, because at 10-1, everyone was talking about Mr. Generational and Jalen Hurts. Give me the X-Files music, Barb. Mr. Generational. And what I saw in Jalen Hurts was the same guy that got benched for Tua Tagovailoa in the national championship game. I saw the same guy that at Oklahoma put up a whole bunch of nice numbers in the Pac-12, but in the playoff got the doors blown off him by LSU. I saw a guy that is going to put up some nice 1-yard touchdown runs, but you take those out, he has the same numbers that they crucified Dak for last year, that we mentioned on last week's episode. 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. And that's not even including fumbles, because that takes him to about 20. I see a guy that has to run the football, run first, pass second, because he can't read coverages, he can't throw people open, and he can't run an NFL pro-style offense. My big three when I'm evaluating a quarterback, they haven't changed, they'll never change. I see a guy that they paid, and history has a tendency to repeat itself. They paid Carson Wentz because they thought he was a generational guy, and they paid Jalen Hurts because they thought he was a generational guy. And mark my words, I'm wearing Punk's sweater. Mark my words. They are going to regret doing that because he's not that guy. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
One more time, Lauren.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
All right, so Carlos, what's your take on the Buccaneers and Eagles game?
I had a feeling Tampa was going to win, only because the Eagles, ever since Nick Sirianni, they beat the Chiefs, and he was in the hallway going back into the locker. He's like, what do you got to say? Whatever it was that he said.
He's Mr. Tough Guy when games are over.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we know this.
After that, and I think when the Jets beat him, I just had a feeling Tampa was going to win that game. Listen, I really was rooting for Baker Mayfield. I want to see the guy do good.
I actually like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
I think he's been given a bad rap, unfortunately.
I think
that whole thing when he was in Cleveland was just he was in the wrong place. I think when he went to LA, that he had a good look for a minute, and I think he's actually finding his swagger down there in Florida, in Tampa, with Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers.
Environment is everything. Is everything. The coaching, the teammates, right? That synergy, the camaraderie. I see that. You know what? I feel like people have a misconception about Baker, like, he's all about himself, but he's like a team guy. He'll go out there and play hurt. Right? I like him. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there's an upset this week. I see people talking that they're going to, get crushed, but listen, they have a fighter's chance. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder.
Right. And you just to piggyback off what you said, a lot of that is also due to the media, because you would think that he played for the Dallas Cowboys the way that he was getting scrutinized, especially when you have clowns like Colin Clownherd, who was talking about how he would not draft him in the first round and saying he's a bad teammate and all this other stuff. And then afterwards, you spread that like wildfire. It's gonna have an effect on them, and then people are gonna have misconstrued conceptions about you. I don't even know
narrative.
False narrative. Thank you. I can't even speak right now, so but thank you for clearing that up. But yeah, no, I think that's what happened to Baker Mayfield, and I think that he's really strong-minded enough to not let that affect him, and he's just out there playing ball. He doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. I think he doesn't have to carry that weight of being the first overall pick, and he's just out there to play ball.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game.
And I miss those Progressive commercials at home with Baker. Those were great. Round of applause for Progressive Insurance. Those were great. Those are great. Hopefully they bring those back. I think if he goes on a playoff run, they almost have to bring it back. So, yeah.
Anyway, we also have the Lions. No, I'm sorry. We also have the Bills, not necessarily stunning the Steelers, but I was foolish enough to pick the Steelers last week because
I think you picked them too.
So in fairness, I picked them. I went in my car and I read a notification that Watt was out.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
We picked right before it was announced that Watt was out.
That's true.
But you know what? At the same time, I think Buffalo really. I did say this on earlier episodes. I did say that Buffalo's window for the Super Bowl is closing faster than any other team in the NFL, and they need to win immediately. They're in a state of emergency right now, and I think they're finally realizing it. I know the injuries have been plaguing them, and they've had issues with the weather up there in Buffalo and so on and so forth. It's been a huge news story with the storms that's going on out there, and also in Kansas City and stuff. But when it comes to purely from a football standpoint, I think they know the urgency. I know that Josh Allen has to prove that he actually is that G word of quarterbacks, and not just what everybody's saying, but he actually wants to prove it on the field. And I think that they're actually on a mission right now. I think a fire has been lit under them, despite all of the negative connotations that have been surrounding them these last couple of weeks. And they're just out there to play football. And DeMar Hamlin's actually doing pretty good in the secondary. I mentioned the injuries. You got no Matt Milano and no Tre'Davious White, but Stephon Diggs, I think he's got over whatever was bothering him with Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is really focused, and I think the key here is the fact that Ken Dorsey is no longer there and Joe Brady is calling the plays, and I think that he's actually tailoring this offense around Josh Allen and all the weapons around him, and that's why they've been able to put up some good numbers. And I actually would not be surprised if they go ahead and win this next game as well, because I feel like they have all of that going for them, and they also have the sense of urgency.
When you can run the football, play defense, and not turn the ball over, those big three, you win playoff games.
Yes.
It's just that simple. You could sprinkle in coaching there too, because that kind of matters as well, but those are the big three. Run the football, play defense, don't turn the ball over. Right. And you look at every team that lost Super Wild Card Weekend, they didn't do any of those things.
They weren't running the ball. They were turning the ball over. Yep.
Yeah. So, and you look at this upcoming weekend before we to preface the divisional playoff weekend. Mm-hmm. It's still going to come down to that, because this is the heart of playoff football. This is the heart of it. And the best coaches, the most successful coaches, the Bill Belichicks of the world, I know you guys love that guy so much. They've mastered the art.
Good riddance.
Spygate aside, cheating aside, they mastered the art of doing those three things. Ego aside, they've mastered those three things. Running the football, playing defense, and not turning the ball over. It sounds simple. Simple, but for
it's easier said than done.
Easier said than done because it's playoff football. So the Bills are doing that. With that, they can win it all. They really can. And they of all teams, they know how to use their home field. They know how to use those terrible gusting winds, the cold weather, the playoff atmosphere with the home team. They're poised to win it. It's them in Kansas City. We'll preview it. But if they don't win it this year, I don't know when they will. Because like you said, their window's closing rapidly.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Carlos, any on the Bills?
I see the Bills by 3 this weekend. I feel that Josh Allen is going to turn the page. I think they have a shot to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I really do. And I hate to say it as a Jets fan, but I would like to see them in the Super Bowl. I'm sick and tired of Mahomes and the Chiefs. I would
the Swifties.
Yeah,
the Swifties.
Forget about them, right?
I know Mongo's had them. The Swifties.
I would
never enough.
Yeah, I would love to see him represent the AFC. Or hey, we can't sleep on the Ravens. Can't sleep on the Texans either. But Buffalo over KC this week.
One of those teams to win because you already know how I feel about the Packers and the Avengers. I'm rooting for anyone but those two.
But
teams.
you know what? That's a nice segue because let's get into the divisional round picks right now as we speak. And also we'll take your calls as well. And also checking on YouTube. Shout out to Deji, who's one of the most faithful listeners and on the check-in right now.
He said the Eagles secondary was so terrible. Couple more trashes for the Eagles secondary. Let's keep on trolling.
Cry Eagles, cry.
Joel White or Joel Pinkman.
Only with better hair.
Yes.
Shout out to my boy Joel. I love that guy. Anyway, 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. But yeah, let's get into divisional picks right now. You already alluded to with the with the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yep.
So all right, we got your picks. I guess we'll go with you, Mongo. Let's start off with the. No, you know what? Let's start off with the games for today. Let's start off with the Texans at the Baltimore Ravens.
So we'll go back to Buffalo-Pittsburgh real quick here because I think this segues in nicely.
Okay.
The one thing about Pittsburgh where I think the NFL dodged a bullet, to me they were the one team that was just the bubble waiting to burst.
Right.
Particularly at the quarterback position. If they had gone on a run, we would have traced it to just the QB getting hot. Whereas every other team here has a QB that you legitimately look at and say either that is a real QB or that is the makings of a real QB like Jordan Love or like C.J. Stroud. And so with that being said, I'll say the exact same thing I said when I picked the Browns over the Texans 2 weeks ago. There's a real chance I pick C.J. Stroud every playoff game for the next 10 years. I just don't think he's ready yet. So I'm going to stick with the Ravens in this game, but with all due respect to C.J. Stroud, it's more a matter of when than if with that guy. I just don't think it's when yet.
Yeah, and it's not Desmond Ridder, who I know is your favorite quarterback. So.
I love that guy. Taylor Heineke, the muffler man.
50% of the time, 100% of the time.
We'll see.
I love that.
Well, we'll see. I mean, supposedly Bill Belichick and the Falcons are heating up, so we'll see what happens with that.
He does love Kirk Cousins. I'm just saying. I'm not trolling. I'm not trolling.
No. I totally believe you. I think I heard him say that somewhere. All right, but as far as you go with the Texans and the Ravens.
Everything what Mongolicious mentioned about C.J. Stroud, I see him as his comp coming out of college. I'm not trolling. Was Dak Prescott? He was a baby Dak. That's in terms of build, in terms of style.
Can't say the whole name like a Tribe Called Quest right now.
You can't. That's retired. Like how about them Cowboys? Stroud is this. You'll look back. When the Texans are fighting for number 1 and number 2 seeds in the next 5 to 10 years consistently,
I can see that.
Stroud is everything the media wants you to believe Trevor Lawrence is.
I'll
say it like that.
Yo, let's get a Don DeMarco for that one. Yeah, that is awesome.
I'll take a few of them. And a couple Bailey Yahtzees. Why not?
Bailey, I love you, girl.
Love you, baby. I see a guy that not only has the leadership, but has the skill set and has the burning desire to get better, and most importantly, has the coach.
Yes.
Like I said, they knocked it out of the ballpark when they hired D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was drawing a blank there.
That's okay.
So But I feel like he's going to look back to this pending defeat. You know, I picked against him and it's burned me, but I just feel like this is Lamar or Josh Generational Allen's time.
Yes.
It's one of those two, I strongly believe they're going to win it all in Vegas. I just book it. Just book it. But I'm going to go with the Ravens, mainly because they're at home and mainly because they are built to beat everyone in the tournament. And again, I'm a broken record. They do the big three. They can run the football, play defense, and they don't turn the ball over. And the big wild card there, they've got the most dangerous man in the league, not named Tyreek Hill, in Action Jackson. Yeah. So it's Ravens. It's their time. It's their time. So, but Stroud, he's one of them ones. He really is. The Texans, they got themselves a play the music bar generational guy. They got a generational guy in Houston, but it won't be enough this week. Go Ravens.
Right. All right. So I'm actually in lockstep with you, Ugo. This is a game that I think is really fascinating because even though I don't have a dog in this fight, I would not be mad to see which one of these teams win. I'd actually be happy if the Texans won or if the Ravens won. But ultimately, I got to side with you, Ugo. I feel like this is Lamar Jackson's time. This is probably the best team that he's ever had that they put together for him. Ozzie Newsome and John Harbaugh put everything in place for Lamar Jackson to succeed finally after all of these years in the league. And I feel like Lamar is also trying to prove the doubters wrong about, basically everybody's trying to say that they should get rid of Lamar Jackson and draft a quarterback because he's not quarterbacky enough or all that other stuff. And now he's actually proving all those doubters wrong and so on and so forth. He's playing some of the best ball that he's had in a long time, but he really has to actually do it. He has to get over that hump like Dak Prescott, where he hasn't been able to get over that hump in the playoffs. And the playoffs have snake-bitten Lamar Jackson, but you know what? He's been able to prove a lot of doubters wrong with a lot of aspects. And if he continues that, which I think he will, I think that he's finally going to, find a swagger officially and then go far into the playoffs. And I actually do predict them in Super Bowl, actually, representing for the AFC. So I love the Texans. I think they're a great story. I love D'Amico Ryans. I love C.J. Stroud. I think they're going to be a great combo for years to come. But as of right now, I think it's just Lamar Jackson's time. So give me the Baltimore Ravens winning this game in Baltimore.
Yep, I'll piggyback off of you.
Yeah,
it definitely is Lamar Jackson's. This is it. Right? There's that narrative where, he should have been a running back, right? He's not really a quarterback, right? Not quarterback. I like that. Yeah. I like that, right? Yeah. And they put all the right pieces around him. This is his time, but I really love C.J. Stroud a lot. That kid, it makes me think, all these teams draft this generational talent. Why the hell can't draft a guy like that, right? But C.J. Stroud, really quick, I was thinking about this while we were talking about him. I believe Frank Reich was fired because he drafted Bryce Young.
Tell me what I'm telling lies. Give me five of them. Five of them.
I'm telling you.
So you think that Bryce Young is that much of a bust?
No, I didn't say he was a bust.
Okay.
He still has a lot of potential.
Okay.
I think he will turn out to be okay. He was just, some quarterbacks who became generational talents didn't have a great rookie season. Sure. And he had some terrible, awful games.
Look at Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning had a horrible rookie season.
Peyton, Drew Brees, Eli Manning. I mean, we could go on and on, right? There's a bunch of guys. I think he still can be somebody. However, had C.J. Stroud not done as good or even worse as Bryce Young, Frank Reich would still have a job and be with the
Tell
Panthers.
Me what I'm talking about.
And also our favorite guy, Josh McCown, because he was the quarterbacks coach in Carolina.
Right.
But real quick on that, I mean, a recent comparison. Think about where Goff and Wentz were about 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
It's why we made Goff what we made Goff to be, and now you look back and ask yourself the question: would you draft Goff or Wentz with number 1? And it's totally different. But at the moment, 16 games in, you were questioning the Rams' decision versus Wentz. It's the exact same situation here.
Bryce Young will go down as another one of those Alabama quarterbacks that you're going to see the best of him when you put studs around him. But he's not a generational guy.
So he's basically Brock Purdy.
He's basically Tua. Honestly,
no, better comparison.
I see him as Tua.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
Brock Purdy,
especially
as much as Mongo loves him, like Brock Purdy is a different animal altogether. But what I'm saying is, I see more Tua. I see a guy that when the GM gets his act right or hires or the owner, who's the owner of the Panthers? Tepper. When Tepper actually hires a competent GM and they start to just put studs around Bryce, you're going to see him put up some numbers, but come playoff time, you're going to see the same situation. Like, oh, what happens when he actually plays one of those ones?
Right.
One does not look like the other.
Right.
That's what I say.
I hope he turns out all right because I drafted him in my dynasty league.
Oh, wow.
Over C.J. Stroud.
That's bad stuff.
You know why? Do you know why? Listen,
You sure about that?
So I was not.
You sure about
Listen,
that?
the only reason I drafted Bryce Young in my dynasty is because I'm like, okay, the Carolina Panthers do this. They draft guys. Why? I'm just going to go with CJ because he has better poise or he's a better leader or he's bigger. Like, I'll go with them because they got him number one. But, so, yeah, that pisses me off still. But I've got the Ravens winning this game. But I would not be surprised if the Texans make it close. This guy, C.J. Stroud, man, he's got a big God on his side. I love that. You don't see a lot of guys out there, praising God and all that.
Facts.
But I don't know. That kid is special, man. That kid is really special. He won't win this week, but like you said, 10 years, he's going to be the man in the league for sure.
I mean, you give financial advice. I'm a fantasy football, a 6-time champion, and I just won my 6th championship.
All right.
So,
Little flex, little light flex.
Light flex. So I'll be your fantasy draft consultant.
All right. I'll show you my dynasty team after this.
I got you. So let's keep it moving.
All right, yeah. So next we got the first and foremost, I'm sorry, Ugo. We got the Packers at the 49ers. What could have been?
What could have been? Yeah. It could have been a contender. Yeah. Love you, Joe.
Shout out to Joe Beningo. By the way, Hackensack Brewing Company next week. This coming up Friday, January 26th at the Hackensack Brewing Company. The Pain Podcast live with JJ Stremski. Shout out to Mike Jones. Shout out to Joe Beningo. Shout out to JJ. Be there. I will be there, and so should you.
Big Yahtzees. So this is my favorite game of the weekend because one of these teams is going home. Give me a Roman Reigns. Give me a couple of Roman Reigns while you play games with me.
Why would you play games with me?
Yeah. So the Avengers should win. They're rested, and when they're rested and healthy, they don't lose. So obviously, I'm going to pick them. I would be thrilled if they were upset. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be close at the beginning. Because again, this is another Spider-Man game. You got two coaches that have the same exact offenses. Really, they love to do the same things. But the big difference is one has elite players, the other one has young, up-and-coming whippersnappers. You know what I mean? So this is very similar to if the Dolphins were to play the Avengers or the Dolphins were to play the Packers. You're gonna literally on offense. If you guys watch the games, you're gonna see the same motions, the same play designs, the play-run designs. You're going to see the exact same formations and everything offensively. The difference is going to be defensively. There's no way Jordan Love at this point, now maybe a year from now, because I believe he's one of those ones.
Okay.
A year from now, he's going to just shrug it off and turn into Aaron Rodgers 2.0 and be like, it doesn't matter what defense you play against me. It's eating time. It's barbecue chicken time. Yeah. It's not barbecue chicken time now. Like Bosa and Warner and Gregory and Chase Young and all those boys, it's going to be rough defensively with the Avengers at full strength. So give me the Avengers, and I'll be eating a piece of cheese as enjoy.
What kind of cheese?
I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
My favorite is Gouda. We don't have any in the house, but probably some provolone. That's my top five.
Especially over a cheesesteak sandwich. Foreshadowing for my
Facts.
Hey, Mr. Sirianni over here. Yeah, I thought it was always sunny in Philadelphia.
He's Italian, so we're allowed to do these jokes.
So you're Italian. Quick thing. Do you call it sauce or gravy?
Oh,
it's like a Sophie's Choice over here.
I call it sauce. My family calls it gravy, so that's why it depends on who I'm with. But in a vacuum, I'd call it sauce.
I agree.
Also because of Sauce Gardner, you know what I mean?
I was just gonna. I like that. Oh my God, you guys stealing my thunder today, yo. We on fire today, man.
ESP baby.
Yep.
Mongo, pick the game and who wins and why.
Yeah, so shout out to my buddy Dan, colleague of mine. If you're listening, call in. He's a diehard Eagles fan, so he was ready to call in for about 24 hours.
862-621-9536 is the number to call in.
So he's in New Hampshire with Jesse Pinkman,
right.
Joel, and Walter White.
But for about 22 hours, he was ready to call this week. So and then that faded.
Savage.
But
That's a savage.
Shout out to him, because when we were making our picks last week, I now am convinced he can see the future, because when he said, what's the path for Green Bay to beat Dallas, it was exactly what happened. You needed I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you didn't know, but you needed a long, sustained first drive. You needed it to not be tied after each team had the ball once. You needed one critical turnover. There was a plan, and shout out to Matt LaFleur for matching that plan beautifully, and shame on the Cowboys for not doing anything to not let that happen, right? Even letting them score faster on the first drive, you got to wonder if that would have been the right move.
Facts.
But the question here is, to my knowledge anyway, is there anything like that for the Niners? And I don't believe there is. There is no one way. There is no, when you're a young team like the Packers, you need to be given small, short instructions, and you need to execute those. Mm-hmm. There is no one small, short plan for beating the Niners. I've joked with you before that Purdy could just go sit on the bench while they just direct snap to Debo and McCaffrey for plays at a time.
Facts.
There's just too much going on that offense for a young Green Bay D to figure them out in one game, maybe in a 7-game series like basketball. They can beat them once or twice, but in a single game, not a chance. This should be the 49ers, and the 49ers quite handedly.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel. The kryptonite for the Avengers is the same kryptonite for Detroit. It's the same kryptonite for Dallas that was exposed. If you have to score first and you have to be ahead of those teams to beat them, they are front-running teams. 49ers they're probably the biggest front-running team next to the Cowboys because, again, we mentioned it. I know I love stats, and I broke this stat down right before the Christmas meetings. Christmas games, if you have a lead on the Avengers going into the fourth quarter, the game is over. Kyle Shanahan is 0-38. I can't make this up. 0-38 when trailing by 8 points or more. If that's not a front runner, I don't know what is. I don't think the Packers can do that. I don't. I think maybe in years in the future with Jordan Love when he's fully involved, oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah, for sure. But you get a lead on the Avengers, and this will be their downfall if they play the Ravens again, if they do make it to the Super Bowl, because they've already proven that they can do it. You get a lead on them, the game is over. Turn the game off. Go watch Mayor of Kingstown. It's a wrap. But the Packers can't do that. Right. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
All right, Carlos, your picks for the Packers 49ers.
49ers have that. I really like Jordan Love. He showed that he is the guy after Aaron, right? He's definitely improved on the way he reads defenses, which is huge. I mean, you saw
that
him.
was when he had trouble earlier.
Right, earlier in his career. That's what it was. Because, the mechanics are there. He's got the physicality, the athleticism.
The arm.
The arm talent, right? But we're talking about Cowboys defense and 49ers defense,
Night
right?
and day. Night and day.
Cowboys have some guys that are out. They're hurt, whatever. But 49ers, I don't think they'll dominate, but they're going to kick their ass.
They're going to pull away. It'll be, like I said, it'll be close early because they got the same offensive playbook. But then the rosters, what should have happened in Dallas game, the rosters are going to take over and the coachings are going to take over. And the 49ers will pull away late. That's how I see it. I won't watch the game. I'll be watching Mayor of Kingstown. But that's what's going to happen.
You're welcome. Anyway,
Thank you. Paramount Plus, thanks this guy.
My pleasure, man.
Survey says one more for the good guys.
My pleasure, man. I'm glad I can help out, man. It's hard out in the streets, man.
For the good guy.
All right, so my pick, piggyback on everything that you guys said. I'll just add that I think that the Packers was they got really. I think they were more prepared for last week, and I think that because of riding that high of knocking off the Cowboys in Jerry's world and the whole brouhaha and everything, I think that they're probably in a state right now where they're feeling themselves a little bit too much. I think that they know that they have a good quarterback in Jordan Love, and they think that they're going to make it to the bowl and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, they're celebrating with themselves and feeling high while the 49ers are actually doing their jobs and getting prepared, getting healthy, game planning. They already know what they have. They're poised to go to the Super Bowl. I think that's actually my pick for the NFC to represent the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a repeat of 2014 when the Ravens and the 49ers were in New Orleans. I think we're going to get a repeat of that. But yeah, it's a nice story, but I just think that pride is just before the fall. I think that the Packers are feeling pretty prideful right now, and I think they should look forward to 2024. I think the 49ers are ready, locked in, ready to win this game, and playing in San Fran no less. You know how I love home team advantage, so give me the 49ers in this game to actually slaughter the Packers. I think the Packers are going to be feeling themselves a little bit too much to the point where they actually don't know where up and down is coming from. So we haven't done any scores here. I don't think we do, but for this one, I think it's going to be like 38-14.
Wow.
You're going to hear that 49er horn that plays, that like the purge horn or whatever. You're going to hear that a lot in this game. A lot.
We will be wearing black for the Packers next week.
We will.
All right, so next up we got the Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions.
This is actually going to be a good game.
I know. You know what? If you asked me this 10 weeks ago, I'll be like, oh man, that sounds some dreck. I mean, I like the Lions, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ugh. But now this has actually turned into a very interesting game. Very interesting.
Yeah, if the Bucs can continue the motto of blitzing and getting after the quarterback, the thing with Goff is against man coverage, he's actually really good. He's one of the best quarterbacks against man coverage. Zone coverage is a different story, and the Bucs play a lot of zone coverage, and again he's the same in the sense as if you get pressure on him, there's no in between. He looks either Pro Bowl-ish and like a top pick or undrafted free agent bad against the blitz. And the Bucs, they blitz coming off of the bus. You know what I mean? That's what they did to Jalen Hurts, and that's what they did in their illustrious 9 wins. They blitzed a lot with Todd Bowles, who, Jets great. I think he's in your Ring of Honor. Is he? Not? No? No, I don't think so. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go.
I'm going to show up with a cheese head next time.
I'll show up with who's Fireman Ed?
Yeah. Got to get you on the show, bro.
Fireman Ed, hard hat, and a Belichick hoodie. I will. You show up with the cheese. But no, I'm telling you, I like the Lions at home. Again, because they're at home, the Fighting Dan Campbells are real. They're going to use...
Sounds like a Motown group.
It does. And Motown, Detroit.
Exactly.
I like
see what I did there?
I'm telling you, man, they're going to use the home field the way it's supposed to be used. Very similar to Buffalo. You got the home field, you played your tail off to get it, use it.
Yeah.
And they used it last week in a historic victory. Round of applause for them. That was their first playoff win since 1991. Yep. There are people crying in the stands.
Yes.
Because it'd been that long, since they won one.
There was actually a mini image of an 80-year-old lifelong.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes, season ticket holder, and seeing him filled with joy, that was actually one of the best things that I saw all weekend last week as well.
Yeah, we're talking back to the Silver Dome days, like back in the 90s, man.
By the way, I want to check out that documentary on Prime, Bye Bye Barry.
Yeah, I still gotta watch that.
Good.
It was good?
Yeah,
I gotta watch that. I definitely have to watch that. But I'm gonna go with the Lions here. I feel like they're on a collision course with San Francisco. That's jumping ahead to next week, but that's actually going to be a really good NFC Championship game because you're talking about a team that has taken on the identity of their coach, and again, broken record, but they do the big three. They run the football, they play defense, and they don't turn the ball over. And when they don't do that, this Lions team, they can beat anybody in the tournament too. You know what I mean? Although they don't match up well against Baltimore. Baltimore beat the brakes off of them. You know what I mean? But
Goff had a bad game.
And Goff had a bad
terrible
game.
game.
Goff looked like Jeff Fisher Goff in that game. But give me the Lions here. I like the Lions at home. They play well at home, and they're going to win at home.
Yeah.
Mongo.
Yeah, I'm with you completely on the Bucs. Know what they need to do to win. I think I'm even higher on the Lion offensive line than most people are, but I like that line a lot.
I do like Penny Sewell.
I like all of them. I wish their 2-point conversions and touchdowns would count more often, but other than that,
ineligible.
But I think Detroit will be able to hold off that blitz. I think Detroit will be able to bully Tampa Bay a little bit. And at the end of the day, I'll just say it one time. Dan Campbell, infinitely better coach than Todd Bowles. And
Savage is there.
And that's going to matter. And so I think this is going to be closer than some people think. I think you know, my immediate overreaction to last week was the two bays here, Green and Tampa, just have no shot. This is a wasted weekend.
The Packers of Green Bay
against the Giants of New
York. This will be closer than I initially gave it credit for, but I maybe about 10 points, 12 points somewhere there. But Detroit will win this game.
Quick sidebar: the face Mongo gave me when I said Todd Bowles the first time.
Oh man,
He looked at me like Will Smith looked at Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars. He's like, keep my coach's name.
You know what it is about him?
I really don't
He
like that.
falls on a. He's like the Sonny Gray of the Jets to me.
Wow.
Yo, give me 50 trashes. 50
He's one of
trashes.
those guys.
50 trashes.
Yo, I think you need to hold on to the belt because you've been coming in strong in this episode, man. You need to hold the belt today.
That's the belt.
Hold the belt on this one.
That's the belt.
He's one of these guys who I dislike more because he seems to be successful everywhere else. Like the guys who like Sam Darnold.
Don Cannon. Get a cannon. Get a cannon.
The longer it takes Sam Darnold to be competent anywhere else, the more I forgive him. Because, okay, we just messed up. Like, Sam Darnold is just not that good, are bad. But some of these guys come in, they stay. Nate Eovaldi's another one, right? Came in, stunk, and then he goes anywhere else.
Trash.
Hold on. We got a caller.
All right, beautiful.
We got a caller. Yeah. Who is there?
It's P-I-double-L in the building. Katie.
Oh, what up? What up, Brett? Oh, man.
Good,
Ladies and gentlemen, Brett Riddick is in the very, very big Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. This is perfect because we're actually on the subject of Tampa Bay. And also, ironically, his wife, lovely wife Alex, is a Jets fan, so she knows what the terror of Todd Bowles has been before, who's now the coach of his team. So I love how that works. But yeah. Anyways, what you got for us, Brent?
What up? Yeah, I heard y'all was talking about the Buccaneers and in the call, and it say we could win and we might win. If the defense
sure about that?
really good.
Your voice wasn't all that confident, bro.
He gave me the Ron Burgundy.
Sure about that?
I'm Ron Burgundy? Oh, that's perfect because me and him quote Anchorman all the time.
Being a Buccaneers fan for as long as I've been, and you know most of my fandom, we've been really trash, and we had like 4 good seasons. So you know I'm like mild mannered when it comes to the Bucs, even though
Got you.
I always rep my Bucs shit. You already know that.
Oh no, you're one of the diehards. That's for sure. That's indisputable right there. Yeah. But what do you what's also, I guess we could also talk about this really quickly because not only are you a Buccaneers fan, but you're also a Yankee fan, like the majority of us, except for this gentleman right here to my left. But,
it's okay, we forgive you. It's okay.
But ironically, he has had Marcus Stroman on his team before,
Yes, he has.
and now we have Marcus Stroman on our team. I got some questionable things to say about it, but what do you think about the whole Marcus Stroman thing coming to the Yankees?
I mean, I've seen him pitch like a couple times. And, you know, I know he has like some, you know, he's like a kind of like a character. But from the time that I've seen him pitch, they were pretty good. And he's fiery. Like that could be like really good for the Yankee Stadium. Like to add fire into the Yankee Stadium when there's already fire in it. You know, it hasn't been no championships in a little bit, but there's always fire in the stadium. So I think he could be good for the Yankees. And he wants to play there. So that's key.
He did grow up a Yankee fan, if I'm not mistaken. So,
yeah, he wants to be there, so that's real key.
all right, yeah, I just wanted to get you on that subject real quick since we have you on. But switching back to football now, we're actually making our picks. So as far as the Buccaneers and Lions game, specifically on this game, what do you expect and what is your pick?
What do I? Well, my pick is the Buccaneers, of course. I think we probably win.
Homer Simpson over here. I love it.
I think we probably win 27-23, but I expect Baker to play real good, and I expect our defense to give up some points. But I'll tell you this: if we don't give up a 50-yard wide open catch touchdown to the Lions, we're gonna win. If we give that up, we're gonna lose. Just remember I said that.
Okay, all right. And I'm actually really looking forward to see both wide receivers on both sides. I'm looking forward to seeing Mike Evans and St. Brown do their thing in a very, very meaningful game here that in the divisional round. And I think it's gonna be a good show. I really do think so. I think it's gonna be a really good game.
Speaking of Amon-Ra, St. Brown, him and the rookie running back that they got, those are the only two dudes that I'm worried about on the Lions.
Okay.
Like very worried about them too.
Montgomery? You're not worried about Montgomery?
No.
Gibbs? Okay.
No, but you're not worried about
You're not
David
worried-
Montgomery?
yeah.
I mean, the guy put up over
I'm
1,000
not really
yards
worried
this
about
season.
Montgomery. I'm not really worried about Montgomery. I'm worried about speed. We don't really handle
Gotcha.
speedy running backs that well.
All right, and what like you feel pretty confident about going after Jared Goff, blitzkrieging him the entire time?
Oh yeah. 'Cause that's what we do.
No,
We love to blitz. So.
Yeah. Now I hear the confidence.
That was
Yeah.
the confidence.
All right, now I got that. No, you sure about that? No Ron Burgundy's here, but yeah, okay. All right, man. Well, listen, enjoy the game. Thank you for calling in, man. We really appreciate it. And yo, bro, I miss you, man. I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm glad that everything's good with the family. Give my family the love and everything. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon, bro. Thanks for calling in.
Later.
Yeah, I definitely will. And real quick, I miss you too, and I wanted to pull up during the Jet season, but once the way it started, I was like, yeah, there's no point of me even like.
Savage.
Just remember,
But next season,
Yeah.
I know that's a very popular statement when it comes to Jets, but hey, man, Buccaneers been trash for a really long time. They had three good seasons when they got 2 Super Bowls out of it. You know what I'm saying? So anything's possible.
Yeah, you know the thing about Brent, I love this guy. It takes him a little bit to warm up. So in the beginning, he's like, you started the engine and he's got to warm up. But once he's hot, he's hot. He will go in, man. That's the beauty of Brent right there. All right, man. But yeah,
bro.
we should
enjoy the show.
thanks, man. We should get you on the show soon, man. So let me know, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, take care, bro. All right, 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. Continue. Did you get your?
No.
Okay, your turn now. The Buccaneers
So
and Lions.
I really like this matchup. You have 2 former number 1 overall picks, right? People forget that Baker was a number 1 pick sometimes, I feel. Lions will win this game for sure. It'll be a little closer than what some people expect. I really like what the Lions have going on as far as culture with the coaching.
I saw.
They have a couple young guys in Jameer Gibbs. I mean, Laporta. This guy is going to be a
Round of applause.
generational tight end. Laporta
Facts.
is a monster,
Facts.
right? The Lions had 5 Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
They're freaking pretty good. They are pretty good. I would love to see them face off with the 49ers to represent the NFC.
That's the collision course.
Oh,
I'm standing 10 toes down with it. That's the collision course.
I would really like to see that. But, listen, their defense is good. Offense, they've got some playmakers, right? Aside from St. Brown, they have some guys playing behind them on the receivers that are pretty damn good. Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, great combination. And Jared Goff has been playing with a chip on his shoulder. I knew he was going to beat the Rams, right? He wanted to show them, like, oh, you got rid of me? Here, let me show you why you made the mistake going with Sam.
With Stafford,
right? Matthew Stafford, right? I really like what Detroit's doing. Even if I do feel they will win, but even if they don't represent the NFC this coming year in the Super Bowl, they will be a team to be reckoned with for the next several years. Because of that coaching staff, because of that relationship between the coach and the quarterback.
Yeah.
All the greats that have done it, the head coach and the quarterback had a great relationship, and I see that. I forgot who mentioned it before, right? That confidence. He believes in him.
Yeah.
He believes in his guy, and the quarterback believes in the coach. So Lions this weekend.
Yeah, the chat's on fire. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. You got Aaron. He's in Cabo right now, or Cancun.
He's on the boat trip with Dre Songs and the Giants.
Yeah, big fast. Oh man, savage. Oh man, if Dez was here, he'd be crying. Dan Campbell isn't a good coach. He has a team loaded with talent that most people don't properly evaluate. He just goes for it on fourth more than others. Okay, that's
he's 12-5, buddy.
he's 12-5.
5 Pro Bowl players,
and he won a wild card game.
Yes.
So you sure about that? Yes. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Sure about that? That's why.
He's just looking at this through teal color glass. That's it. He thinks that Tua Tagovailoa is the greatest thing since Tom Brady.
He thinks he's generational.
Yeah.
He thinks he is, and he's not.
He's definitely not.
Tua Tagovailoa, first of his name. You gotta say the whole thing like a John Conquest.
Nah, he's third of his name. His brother's coming out and might be better than him. Coming out of Maryland.
It's not even first class. It's more like 8th class.
Exactly. No, but to bring this home before we get to the final game. I mean,
Brent even said, "Let Baker bake." I like that.
I like that too.
I like that
too. Nice. Bring back the progressive commercials. Bring it back, please. I want Flo in a couple of them too. No. The Lions have taken make it again. They are the fighting Dan Campbells. I said this on our show last year. I saw this coming. I said this would happen. Matter of fact, I said that they were going to beat the Packers in the finale and end their season last year, and I was right. On my show, 10 toes down, Marv on the boards. All right, go stream it. All right. I'm not shocked that he even called. He said by year 3 we should take the North, and they did. We should begin the playoff ascension by year 3. We just have to. They have to flush out. When you're changing a culture of a football program, it takes time. Right. Sometimes it's a little quicker, with Houston, you saw that. But then again, Houston had a lot of bad drafts and a lot of good picks that were just waiting for the right coach to take them over the top. And boom, there you have it with Ryans and with the GM getting his act together, Cicero, I believe. But no, you see this with the Lions. They've taken on the identity of their coach as well as their new GM, and they've brought everything home. And when you get a generational tight end and you get a quarterback that has belief in him, and you've got a defense Aiden Hutchinson, and again a run game. They got a
poor man's
Joey
Bosa right there.
Facts. And he gave us problems when we played him. I mean, he's a bad man. Yep. You know what I mean? So
he looks like Thor back there, yo.
He does. And again, a Michigan kid who's playing for his hometown team. You love those type of stories.
I love blood in the ground stories. I
do too.
That's why even though I'm not a Giants fan, I did love the whole Victor Cruz story. Except for the Christmas game.
Of course.
I was there. That was brutal.
Oh my God!
All Giants fans, all my boys, they ran me out of the stadium, man. Especially on that last touchdown.
It's okay.
I still get the Facebook reminders, and my boys always every damn year stop tagging me in that. Stop tagging me in that damn picture.
It's okay. It's okay. In all full transparency, I was at Cowboys Giants the opener this year, 40-0 in the rain.
A 40 burger.
Yes, the rain cleansed that stadium for me. So all is well.
What's that movie where she's dancing and the water just falls on her?
Oh man,
Flashdance. Flashdance. That was Ugo at MetLife Stadium. Just celebrating.
And that was me singing in the rain too. Taking it back to the '60s. You know what I mean?
Dom DeMarco.
Dom DeMarco right there, and a Bailey Yahtzee too. Why not? But no, the Lions and Packers are going to be going at it for the next decade plus, and we'll see. And if the Bears are going to get Caleb Williams, I'll say that with 10 toes down. The NFC North all of a sudden is going to be what the AFC West was supposed to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we were
wrong on that. Did we botch that?
You sure about that?
Yes.
Nope. Not anymore.
We were like those two old Muppets that always told those corny jokes. And the AFC West is going to be great. We bombed that one totally, but trust me, the NFC North is going to be box office, and who knows what the Vikings are going to do at quarterback? Right. Let's say maybe Russ might go there. Who knows? Yeah. But the Lions are headed toward the right direction. Their fans should be encouraged. However, these playoff they've already ended a freaking historic generational curse.
Yep.
Not winning a playoff game in damn near 32 years. Oof. So they're already trending in the right direction. Dan Campbell's the right man for that job.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say with this game, I think I'm picking the Lions here, but I think it's also unfortunately going to be a bit of a repeat of last week, because I think that we were seeing a little bit of flaws in the Lions game. They almost gave that game away towards the end, and Matthew Stafford looked like he was out for revenge, real revenge. But ultimately, they persevered, they got it figured out, and they pulled it out with a 1-point win. And I think that they're going to be a little bit more better prepared this time, but I think that Todd Bowles' blitzkrieg is going to be a problem for Jared Goff and the offensive line. I think they'll hold up eventually, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard fought. After the game, they're going to be winded, they're going to be tired, and they're definitely going to need to be acclimated to get back to continue to go on further in the playoffs to the NFC Championship game. But I think this is going to be a really hard fought, really good game. I expect bullets flying from Baker Mayfield and both Jared Goff. They're going to be going all over the place. There's going to be some crazy roughing the passer penalties here, because the Zebras got to get their shine in every now and then.
Of course,
the stadium. I wish I was in Ford Field, because that is going to be electric. It's going to be fun. These guys have never experienced. It's almost like Bruce Springsteen is in town.
Right.
They've never experienced like this, so they're going to go all out, whether they win or lose. They're going to scream to the high heavens. They're going to yell. They're going to cheer. They're going to do everything. It's going to be pandemonium at Ford Field, and I wish I could be there to document it all. But unfortunately, I'm here freezing my butt off in Jersey, but I'm going to be enjoying the game in the confines of my cozy home. But going back to this, I think this is going to be a very close game. I would not be surprised if this was won by a 2-point conversion, but I'm going to go.
Where the tackle is eligible?
Yes. They got to get a break sometime. So, yeah.
The 30-plus years they deserve one, for sure.
Well, the referees from that game aren't going to be in the playoffs anyway, so you might have a chance with that.
Exactly.
So yeah, give me the Lions. I'll go over the Buccaneers. Buccaneers was a nice story towards the stretch end, but I just think it's the Lions' year until next week.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's quickly get this. Did we already preview this game with the Chiefs and Bills?
Well, he said his piece, but we didn't get to go to our.
Okay, let's run through it quickly because we're up against the clock here. So Chiefs Bills. It's gonna get the generational music. At least the X-Files aside, you got two of them in this game. Bills are at home. This is what they always wanted. They've been trying to get their lick back for the AFC Championship game for a couple years now. Regular season doesn't really hold that much weight. They've been beating the Chiefs in the regular season. I believe the last two times they beat the Chiefs in the regular season. But playoffs is when Allen has been trying and waiting for his opportunity to right that wrong. They should have won that game. They really did. Right. Coaching malpractice on McDermott's part, not squib kicking it. But Tyreek Hill's not on the roster anymore. All right, he's been replaced with Taylor Swift. So I'm gonna go with Bills here. I feel like it's their time. Again, teams that know how to use the home field advantage to their advantage and can do the big three, like I've been saying all show long. Yes. Run the ball, play defense, don't turn the ball over. And Brady, the offensive coordinator has done a good job of reeling back Josh Allen. Like, listen, bro, just throw the ball on the ground. Throw it into the fifth row, but please don't throw it to the other team. Right. All right, live to play another get down. We've got a solid defense. We got a solid run game. We don't need you to put the cape on. We don't need you. But when we do need you to run that quarterback draw, run it, because he's a freaking elephant running down the field. He's very tough to bring down in the open field. The Bills learned that firsthand. But give me, the Steelers learned that firsthand. But give me the Bills here. I think it's their time. I think it's going to be Bills, Ravens, Super Bowl. AFC Championship game as God intended.
Yeah. Mongo.
All right, so first of all, I'm going to pass this back to you.
Okay, it's getting heavy.
We are very close to Clown and Hero of the Week, and I'm warning you right now, my arms are going to be flailing for that.
Oh, man, no, same here.
So everything you guys have said about the Bills, 1,000% true. I'm with you on that. But until I see otherwise, to me, this is Ewing's Knicks versus Jordan's Bulls.
Oh my God!
Give me 10 Billy Yahtzees.
Oh, you got to hit me in the heart with that one, my hero.
If you want Weber's Kings against Shaq's Lakers, you can take that too.
Give me my own Yahtzee. 10 of them.
And of course, if you want Judge's Yankees against Altuve's Astros, you can go there as well.
Yes.
But these are
get a bomb for that one too.
These are two very good teams that neither would surprise me to make a run, but one team has done it, right? One team has traversed the mountain.
Twice.
One team has figured out how to get to the mountain. Those are two very, very different things. And until the Bills tell me otherwise, I'm going to keep taking the Chiefs. And I said it 2 weeks ago. I think it was a caller asked us, is Ravens-Niners a foregone conclusion? And I said it's going to be Niners-Chiefs when the Chiefs upend the Ravens. So, I mean, they're my Super Bowl pick for the AFC. I'm going to stick with it. But to me, this game comes down to experience. One team has done it. One team has not. Give me the Chiefs.
Ooh.
All right.
Great take, bro.
All right.
Good stuff.
Well, I like that take also, but I will also say that this is going to be the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career that he has played a playoff game not called Arrowhead. So, cold weather team, I get that. So it may not affect them too much as far as that's concerned. But I just feel like they still have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. I think that they don't have that burst that they had earlier in the past couple of years. I think that Travis Kelce is not the same tight end that he was before. I think that there's just something about there's a huge fire that is lighting up the Buffalo Bills right now because they know that their window is closing right now. Patrick Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls, been to 3. Josh Allen hasn't even sniffed the playoff appearance, in the conference or the divisional round. So he needs to get this done. They need to get it done. I think that this is also going to be a low-scoring game as far as because in that snow, you're not going to expect a lot of high-flying offenses. Even though you got two quarterbacks that have fantastic arm talent, they're going to reserve that for their possible getting in, further into the playoffs. And also with that weather, it's not going to be faring well, especially with that brutal wind. So I'm actually going to say I just think that Buffalo, they're really hungrier this time than the Chiefs, and then the Chiefs are going to acclimate and then come back for it next year. I just think this is the Bills team. I don't know if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl, but I would not be surprised to see them in the AFC Championship game with the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm going to not only am I going to say that the Buffalo Bills are going to win this game, but I'm also going to pick the under 45.5 points.
I like that call.
Yeah.
All right,
like
cool.
All right, so we got a little bit of time here. So what do you want to get into? Do you want to get into Stroman, or do you want to get into everybody's favorite segment?
We can get into Stroman real quick. You get Stroman real quick, and then we'll get to everybody's favorite segment.
All right, so yeah.
You want to kick it off?
Okay, I'll kick it off.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh.
Can't do that.
Nice eye, Marv.
Marvelous.
I spy with my little eye.
Marvelous.
Marv wondered when
Marvelous.
we joined the MME.
Yeah, exactly. The Miss TV was about to make an appearance.
Yeah, so honestly, I think this is a move. I am not a fan of Marcus Stroman personally. I think he is pretty thin-skinned, ironically, coming from New York. He's shown that time and time again with his Twitter rants, and actually had the audacity to call Michael K a racist, which I thought was really, really uncalled for.
Clownish. That was clownish.
Yeah, that was very clownish of him. And you're basing that off of what somebody said about because Michael K has never had a black co-host, so that makes him a racist. Come on, man. He doesn't hire a co-host or whatever. He's just a worker for ESPN. He's not.
Right. He's an employee.
Exactly.
Bro, what are you talking about?
Exactly. Yeah. So,
definitely Westbrook.
and then and I think that Marcus Stroman should have been smarter to know not to follow something like that, especially if you're a New Yorker. How much of a New Yorker are you, or a fan of the Yankees, if you don't know anything about Michael K in that aspect? But anyway, I also think that this is just a desperation move on both sides. I think that both Marcus Stroman and Brian Cashman are in a situation where they needed each other, because let's not forget, Brian Cashman said back in 2019 that, in so many words, he was saying that he doesn't think that Marcus Stroman is good enough for what we have to do here. So he took it personally, which I kind of understand. I do know that he unfortunately started throwing things around when he found out he was traded to the Mets of all places. But he wasn't a bad player for you guys at the time. But I think he had a fire under him, and then he went to Chicago, and when he's healthy, he's a good pitcher. I don't know. And the thing that's also interesting is that his numbers in Yankee Stadium haven't been that great, but who knows? Maybe they'll be flipped around, because this time he's actually on the team as opposed to the opposing player. On the opposing team, I should say. So maybe his numbers drastically change. But I just think that this is a move where Stroman had nowhere else to go, and Brian Cashman definitely needs to do something with this team, because he is on the clock. I don't care what anybody says. I think that Hal Steinbrenner is not happy with him, but they are really good at covering the tracks and not letting things leak to the media like that. Yeah. They know how to show poise. They know how to show character. But I think behind the scenes, something is a little bit rotten in Denmark, and I think that Brian Cashman is starting to implode, especially as we saw in his press conference earlier this year in the winter.
He was off the reservation a couple times.
Exactly. So this is a desperation move. He knows that bullpen currently constituted is not going to win you any championships. And talent-wise, I like Stroman. He has a good arm, and I think that he still has a little bit left in the tank. But I just honestly think that this is just a desperation move on both parties.
Well, I wanted Snell. I
wanted Snell too.
Snell was my choice. But I think in terms of character and fire, 100% Stroman is. We needed somebody other than Cole that is ready to throw hands and start swinging on the Red Sox.
Harrison Bader's not going to do it. Clark Schmidt's not going to do it.
Right, and there's a reason why Bader.
Highly a kid.
There's a reason why Bader was put on waivers. You know what I mean? You can have the mouthpiece and mouth guard and all that, but bro, if you're hitting under 200 as a leadoff hitter, it's not going to work. But no, so I like Stroman's fire. He doesn't mind the bright lights. He doesn't mind pitching in big games. I hate to reference the World Baseball Classic, but it's definitely gotten a lot more coverage and press over the last few years, especially with Japan in it. And Stroman pitched lights out a couple years ago in the Baseball Classic when the United States won. So that's a guy who's not afraid of the big stage, and you're gonna get a lot of big stage standalone games in New York. You know what I mean? So. I love his attitude, and I love his ability. I feel like he's going to fare well. I like the move is another step in the right direction. if Rodon doesn't turn it around, this move doesn't mean anything. And if
Facts. That's
so,
true, yeah.
So that's
really good point.
I really link those two, and those are two Brian Cashman specials right there. He led the charge to get both of those guys. So if one affects the other 1,000%. So both of those guys need to pitch to the back of their baseball card, and if that happens, we're not talking about the third wild card. We're talking about actually competing for the AL East, which I still don't see the case right now. I don't think we've done enough, but we're still fighting for a wild card. So this moves the needle maybe one tick. Right. For me,
now,
you know, I mean that's where I'm at with it.
Mongo.
Now, perception matters, especially in this city, and the big difference here is I think it was on this show. If not, it was somewhere. I thought we were going to end up trading for Paul Blackburn. That's who I genuinely thought was going to be the fifth starter on the Yankees. And if you're asking yourself who, you're not wrong to ask that. And that's a little crazy of a take by me, but most of us were thinking it's going to be Will Warren or it's going to be somebody random. So relative to what the fifth starting pitcher could have been, Stroman now comes off looking like a godsend.
Yeah.
And he's going to be idolized because he's not Will Warren, he's not Paul Blackburn, he's not random dude. And so that's going to help the Yankee fans get behind him right away. That's going to help Stroman find his rhythm better, be more comfortable. And that's going to just help the whole situation. But to me, adding a guy like Stroman really turns this into a secret job interview for Anthony Rizzo.
Facts.
You need a leader in the clubhouse if you're going to bring in guys like Stroman. And there's no question who is the veteran leader or who needs to be the veteran leader on this team to have young guys like Soto, the young guys coming up through the pipeline. You're going to have a new young catcher, Austin Wells, doing a lot of catching back there. You need a player coach at this point like you would have had back, the Paul O'Neills of the world, guys like that. And this is more and more becoming Rizzo's opus, basically. If Rizzo can help guide them through this year, that dude is a Yankee manager of the future for sure.
Facts.
Carlos, you've actually had Stroman on your team before. So what is your take on the whole Stroman to the Yankees thing, and how did you feel about him when he was a Met? And because I think that plays a big part into, he already has, not only is he from New York, but he's actually played in New York for a local team. So
real quick, because we are up against the clock.
Yeah. So I liked Stroman back when he was with us. He had his moments, and when he had his moments in the stadium. I used to go to a ton of Met games, and listen, I was a fan, right? When he opted out and when he left, I wasn't too. Being a Mets fan is freaking hard, right? You love the guy, but you hate the guy. It's tough being a Mets fan. It's tough, and him going to the Yankees, good riddance. I think Yankees got him because they couldn't get Yamamoto, they couldn't get Snell, so they're like, all right, this is who we gotta get now.
Okay, Marv, you can mute his mic.
Right?
It's okay. I knew this is gonna happen.
So
I knew this is gonna happen.
There's a lot more hate inside of me, but I'm gonna keep it.
There's a therapy session here. This is a therapy session.
It is.
Good luck with Stroman this year, Yankees.
Okay.
All right, from one rebuild to another. All right, so
2025, baby.
You said it. I thought it. All right. Marv, you can cue the music.
Yes,
it's about
everybody's favorite segment. Let's go. All right, before we continue, let's say that this segment of Clown of the Week is brought to you by the First Class Second Place Podcast, the Ugo Boy Podcast, New York Posse, and Bravery Studios. And let's not forget Carlos_financial_coach.
All right. I think I got to kick this off.
Yes.
I think
the floor is yours.
I mean, I've been waiting all week.
He's been waiting all week for a Clown of the Week.
Oh man, this segment of Clown of the Week is one more time brought to you by First Class Second Place, Ugo Boy Podcast, and of course New York Posse and Bravery Studios, of course. So not a difficult decision whatsoever.
It's low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit. And by the way, we did get some breaking news while during that illustrious speech by the Met fan on the table that Jerry Jones and the Cowboys will not extend Mike McCarthy.
Yep.
Jerry Jones wants the head coach to earn his new deal. And
I like it.
Which is right on brand with what I said earlier in my spiel that this is 2019 over again. Can I get 5? Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
The Cowboy fan actually knows what he's talking about, believe it or not. Oh man, shocker. No, the Clown of the Week is the person who that news is centered around. It's Mike McCarthy. It's Mike McCarthy.
Man.
It's not Jerry Jones. It's not Jerry Jones. And it would be very easy for me to say Jerry Jones, but I'm not going to do that because Jerry Jones has done everything Cowboy fans and national media swears that he hasn't done for years. He's done that. He's taken a step back. He's allowed McCarthy to pick his staff. They've drafted players according to his philosophy. They've signed and traded for free agents according to his philosophy. They've given him they took away Kellen Moore. Or Kellen Less, as Enrique over has said, they've given McCarthy everything he's asked for and more. And in 4 years, he's given the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, he's rewarded him with 1 playoff win. So you're damn right he's coaching for his job. And I'm not shocked. And again, 2019 all over again. Until you win back-to-back playoff wins, something that you only did in Green Bay a couple times. Let's keep it a stack. And that was with prime Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. All right? Until you do that, you are gonna wear this clown mask, bro. You won't get a new contract, and he is coaching for his job. And that debacle in AT&T Stadium was so clownish. And that goes solely. Can we all agree that the Cowboys were outcoached in that game?
Yeah, big time.
Oh yeah.
So and again, you picked the worst. You picked the playoff game to play the worst game of the season. That's on coaching. That's on you. Congratulations, McCarthy. You ended our season, and you clowned yourself.
All right, let's go with Mongo.
Mongo, take it away, baby.
Well, unfortunately, you're gonna just keep that clown mask right where it is. Keep it hidden. Keep it hidden.
Okay.
I want that clown mask nowhere near me at the moment, and it's a shame because I don't know about you guys. I thought this was the best clown of the week eligible week we might have ever had.
Yeah.
There were so many upsets in the NFL, and then you had so many. Nick Wright, you're getting lucky here because your dumb take on the Eagles. It should have been you, buddy. You should be the clown.
Chris Broussard too. You were
clown. All of you across all the platforms did something clownish this week. But I'm hiding that because I'm changing the rules here a little bit.
He's going off the rails. I love it.
Who I'm picking on here does not deserve to be called a clown because this is at the end of the day, this is a fun segment. This is a cheeky segment. So I hate that I have to take it here. But last weekend, Chicago, particularly the Chicago Bulls, put Jerry Krause in their Ring of Honor.
God, yeah.
And I'm sorry to have to do this, but I need to do this. Jerry Krause got put in the Ring of Honor by the Chicago Bulls, at which point, if you don't know who Jerry Krause is, that's the architect responsible for their 6 rings in the 90s.
Correct.
At which point, Bulls fans promptly booed him because of how he broke up that team. Now, aside from the fact that you're booing a Ring of Honor entrant, which shame on the Chicago Bulls for not realizing this was coming, but still, this dude is responsible for about 90% of your success as a franchise. But here's where it gets worse. He wasn't in attendance to receive this. His widow was. And so if you can't put 2 and 2 together there, the dude is dead. Chicago Bulls fans, you were booing a dead guy. With very few exceptions, there is never a reason to boo a dead man. And there's definitely never any reason to boo his widow. So Chicago Bulls fans, you want to keep receipts, you want to make enemies, congratulations, you got one. I hope the Chicago Bulls never win again. I hope the Chicago White Sox never win again. The Chicago Cubs. I hope the Chicago Sky never win a WNBA championship. I hope the Chicago Fire FC get relegated from the MLS. I hope Chicago Fire never wins an Emmy. I am done with you as a city. This was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And it doesn't deserve Clown of the Week. It deserves simply A-holes of the week. You were terrible, Chicago. Not cool.
Give me a Ric Flair whether you like it or not. He
Forgot the
deserves it.
Blackhawks.
And the Blackhawks.
And the Blackhawks. Forgot him. Sorry, you guys have your own troubles.
CM Punk is from Chicago, and he's just, we're just gonna leave him aside.
Whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it because it is the best thing going today.
All right. Carlos, real quick, your clown of the week.
Real quick, I don't know if it's the Jets front office, Joe Douglas, the ownership, right?
All of whom have been clown of the week, by the way.
Why keep Keith Carter as the offensive lines coach? I mean, this guy, people were talking about him, old players. I mean, you got Breece Hall laughing his ass off on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
Twix,
right? Get rid of the guy, right? We had a terrible offensive line, too much shuffling. Like, what are these guys doing? I do like the Tippmann pick, but what are you guys doing? Get rid of that bum. That's it.
All right. I love it. All right, my clown of the week.
Hold up. He's been waiting all week for clown of the week.
Yeah, you get the clown mask back. You can get
Oh, he's putting the mask on.
Oh, no!
He's putting the mask on.
He's in a two-piece.
He's putting the mask on.
God, that's...
Now, the reason I have this clown mask on, and hopefully you guys can hear me, is because you can't?
You're good.
You can. All right. All right, there we go. So, my name is Skip Bayless. I work for Faux Sports.
10 trashes. 10 trashes. 10 of them.
I turned my former best friend, Stephen A. Smith, into a fake Cowboy fan. I couldn't handle Shannon Sharp with his realness and grittiness and rawness. Now I'm stuck with two Bobos and Bozos in Keyshawn Johnson and Richard Sherman. And I had the audacity to say on Twix, Micah Parsons, I can't wait for his podcast tomorrow because that's what he does best. Wow. Are you kidding me? I actually, it's my turn. It's my turn. Micah Parsons. I love Mike McCarthy. I love what Jerry Jones is doing here. Skip Bayless, knock it off. Always been a clown. This is low-hanging fruit. You've been a clown plenty of times, and you're certainly not going to be the last clown of the week.
He's on. To bring that home, my brother mentioned it. He's on Mount Clownmore. So shout out to my brother King.
All right.
He's there. Stephen A. Smith's there. Dan Orlovsky's there. The whole lot of them are there.
All right, so real quick, because we're up against the clock, hero of the week. Let's get it in. Please play the Chariots of Fire music, please, Mark.
Let's go.
Yes, thank you.
Mongo, kick it off.
Mongo, kick it off with your hero of the week.
I'm going to a different city for hero of the week. I'm going to Philadelphia, and it was a rough week, right? Rough week in Philadelphia for Eagles fans.
It wasn't sunny.
But you have those Philly fans who they're the guys who the day the Eagles get eliminated, Eagle jersey comes off, Sixer jersey goes on, right? And those are the true Philadelphia fans. And so shout out here. This seems meaningless, but it's important. Joel Embiid, the day that the Eagles got eliminated, the day that Pascal Siakam came to the Pacers, a lot of reasons for Philly fans to be upset. Dude drops a 41-7-10 against the Nuggets in a huge, huge win, and just kind of gave Philly fans a tiny bit of hope in a moment where they really needed it.
As Dominicans say, un chin.
Un chin. So the hero that Philly needed in that moment. So definitely hero of the week for them, if nothing else. Joel Embiid, huge performance by anybody.
All right.
Hero of the week for you.
Really quick, I would never think I would put this guy's name and hero together in the same sentence, but I'm going to do it. I'm giving it to Bill Belichick. Get the hell out of the AFC East. Wow. Good riddance. I hope you go to the Commanders and torment the Giants or retire. Get the hell out of the AFC East, my man. Peace.
Pipe bomb explodes.
Pipe bomb.
All right, Ugo, your hero of the week.
Oh man, I'm gonna get the big belt for this one. Cue that music up there. Load it up. My hero of the week, I'm a member of it. Cowboys Nation. Cowboys Nation. Listen, all the fans that didn't go home, they actually went to the stadium to sit through that dribble, that trash of a performance by Mike McCarthy and the boys. The football team didn't show up, but the fans showed up. We've got the best fans in pro football. We got the best fans in pro sports. I know I'm biased, but I'm one of them. But we've hung in there, going on 29 years and counting. But Cowboy fans, one day, not this year, maybe not next year, but one day, this drought will be broken and we will win the Super Bowl.
All right. Jets and Cowboys Super Bowl 10 years from now.
I'm ready.
We'll be there. All right, so this is on a very serious note. My hero of the week actually goes to Brad Holmes, the GM of the Detroit Lions, because I saw something on SportsCenter earlier this week where they were like, in 2003, Brad Holmes was working at an Enterprise rent-a-car while trying to land a job at the NFL. He got to start as a PR intern for the Rams. 18 years later, he became the GM of the Detroit Lions, and that's what that win last week against the Rams meant to him. He has created a brand new culture in Detroit, and seeing where he came from humble beginnings to actually ascending to the level that he is right now, I can't think of anything more inspirational at the moment. So my hero of the week is Brad Holmes, the GM of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on yet another crazy, wild, muy caliente episode of Yo BTV Sports. Shout out to my boy Carlos for coming through. Thank you for being an amazing guest.
Thank you.
Shout out to Mongo for being the hero of everybody today. Shout out to Ugo for being the great co-host that he is, the great gentleman that he is, the beautiful co-host of The Out, which is coming out in theaters soon, and also, last but not least, big shout out to Marv from
Yes, sir.
Marvelous.
Yes.
Oh, marvelous.
And certainly not last but least, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for support. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being the best fans in the world. And also shout out to New York Posse.
Yes.
New episodes of First Class Second Place out right now.
Round of applause for this guy
Okay.
as well. Gosh, Jason and Ugo.
Let's not get delirious here.
And like Eddie Murphy, and as you were saying, the Ugo Boy podcast.
Yes, the Ugo Boy podcast. But more sports talk with Mongo coming soon. And also, you guys need your finances in order, because I know a lot of y'all out there. Hit up this guy right here, Carlos_financial_coach. You
Free
can
analysis, y'all.
There you go. And well, you don't have Instagram or social media or anything like that. You're smarter than the rest of us.
I'm secret. I'm hidden. I-80 Sports, though. I-80 Sports, weekly basketball, weekly baseball show. Check it out. I-80 Sports.
Yeah.
Ugo socials.
Ugo Boy 88 on all digital platforms, as well as the 2 YouTube channels, Ugo Boy 88. That's for the music. New video on the way, new song on the way, Run It Up, as well as Captain Planet. Shout out to Captain Planet. That hit 104,000 views on YouTube. Round of applause for that. Ugo Boy Media. The podcast channel, we got new episodes. We just shot an episode with Gordon Deal of the New York Giants.
Nice.
Another GOAT has been added to the illustrious catalog, and we got more big guests on the way this year. 2024 is going to be the biggest of them all.
Yeah.
Big Yachts.
And Jason, and people, you can find me at I am Jason Enrique on Instagram, all social media platforms. Delete the old one. This is a new one. It's a brand new page for 2024 and beyond. Go follow me, and new episodes in First Class Second Place podcast coming out soon. Right now, link in the description at YouTube on Jason Enrique.
And Mongo, I see Mongo's here. That guy's here, Mr. Financial. That guy's here. Marvelous, take us home with Ric Flair.
Whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it, because it is the best thing going today.
We out. Woo.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say who's on the beat, cause you should know that by now. Check it. Hey yo, music's on my mind, like my 5950, I ain't lying. Check it. Yo, this ain't a fitted song, this a give.